us hunger, death consumed.
Greetings and welcome back to the Tournament of the Living Dead. I am Flesh Wound Dan, joined by producer Todd.
Good evening.
Pugs Dread, that Return of the Living Dead hater, and Chris McGibbon, our zombie expert.
What's going on?
So Pugs, in case they're jumping in, let them know how the Tournament of the Living Dead works.
What we do for our tournaments is rate and review a film, and then at the end of the episode, we'll add that movie to a list compiled from our previous episodes. And then we will vote to eliminate one of those films off the list, leaving us with our 3 zombie films, aka our 3 survivors. Then those 3 final survivors will go up against a new zombie film every episode until we reach day 13. And when we get to that point, we will pick one of the 3 survivors as our Tournament of the Living Dead champion. So now that that's out of the way, Todd, tell us our previous eliminations and whatever the hell else is on the menu.
Thank you, Pugs. On tonight's menu, we have Lucio Fulci Zombie, Return of the Living Dead, Dead Girl, and added to the menu tonight, Nightmare City. Eliminated thus far, Promoto's Fallen Angel, Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse, and Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. So, Dan, why don't you tell us about Nightmare City?
All right, from 1980 and the late great director Umberto Lenzi, we have Nightmare City, which stars actor Hugo Stiglitz as a reporter caught in a living, breathing zombie hell. When an airplane comes into contact with radiation from a nuclear disaster, it causes the passengers to mutate into scabby-faced humanoids with a compulsion to kill and drink the blood of their victims. As the zombies move into the city and beyond, will anyone or anything be able to stop the wave of bloody death and disease that threatens to decimate mankind? So this one's also known as City of the Walking Dead. And, well, I'll tag you in first on this one, Chris, because I'm curious to get your take on Nightmare City.
Fucking love this movie. It's weird because most Italian zombie fare primarily stuck to one location. You know, it was either the jungle or an isolated country villa or something to that degree. And this was one of the first ones, if not the first one, to really expand the reach and literally fucking go everywhere. We start in an airport, we go to a damn TV station, we end up at a hospital, then a fucking military base, then a power plant, then the fucking woods, a gas station, church, a carnival. Like, this fucking movie went everywhere. And it's all over the place. I mean, it literally starts the moment within minutes of the movie starting. There really isn't a huge setup to this whole thing. The plane lands, the radioactive freaks come running out and they start killing people right away, and the rest of the movie is just watching Hugo Stiglitz running around trying to get away from him. The only thing about this film that I find heartbreaking is that role was going to be John Saxon's, and the Spanish producer or market or whatever, Hugo Stiglitz was really big at the time in Mexico, so they forced Umberto Lenzi to hire him over John fucking Saxon.
Franco Nero was also in the mix too.
Yeah, well, John Saxon's the one I give a shit about. Fuck Franco Nero. Okay.
Oh, come on.
I get what you're saying. I get where your heart is.
Get him, Chris.
Such a different fucking movie if we had John Saxon leading the role in this thing. It's just a gory, fun, balls to the wall movie. There's so much happening in this, and I mean, so many random things, like a fucking TV exploding, not just fizzing, just literally fucking turning into a bomb when this dude throws him at one of the zombies. It's crazy. And it really, and there are parts of it that I also found genuinely creepy when they're in the hospital and the power goes out and the wife is looking for the blood and there's a couple chilling in there just guzzling down the blood, and it's dark and the only light she's got is her flashlight. Those are pretty creepy scenes. Yeah, this is a really fun entry in the Italian zombie sort of subgenre, and one of the faster paced ones too. This one really doesn't let up once it starts, so it's a rare and good time.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't Savini attached to a remake of this too? At
Oh,
one point?
don't even kind of ask him about that. So
um, well, I'm glad you like it because I love this movie. It's I know it's also a big favorite of Quentin Tarantino. He's raved about it over the years. But you're right. When you really look at this time, zombie movies always were kind of contained, and this really opened it up. Now it has that whole, are they really zombies? Are they just infected? I don't go by that, but this is just an epic, action-packed, extremely well-paced movie. Without this, we wouldn't have 28 Days Later, or those movies that break away from the Romero style zombies. I think that it's got something for the gore fans. There's a lot of cool gore bits in here. It's Hugo Stiglitz. I agree, not the best lead. It would have been a lot more. I don't know. He's not awful. He's just a little bit generic. I think Saxon or Nero, who is awesome, would have been great in the lead. But
Welcome, says Chris.
I think it's a shame because Umberto Lenzi was not. He didn't really think highly of this movie. Of course, he's somebody. If you haven't dived into his catalog, his Polizioteschi crime films are fantastic. Umberto Lenzi was an amazing director, and his Giallos, Orgasmo with Carol Baker, which I believe is his favorite movie that he did. He didn't think much of horror. In fact, he considered this a vampire movie more than a zombie movie, which I don't really see that. But I know it was based on the Seveso disaster, which was a chemical explosion in Seveso, Italy, and that was very much in the public's minds at the time. And I think he hits a home run with this. This is a zombie movie that I think you can easily show young fans of Resident Evil or whatever, if that was their first zombie movie, and there's still something to enjoy in this. It's got the sleaze as well. We get the gratuitous 80s aerobics scene that gets crashed by the living dead. That's a lot of fun. There's a lot of titty related gore in this one as well. It's a fun movie. I guess if I'm looking for any criticisms, like some of the makeup's not great. I've heard them referred to as shit-faced zombies before, but I think they look good, and they kind of make sense because, again, chemical explosion, that it works. It's not perfect, but it's kind of one of those perfect to me kind of films. But I'm curious. Pugs, have you seen this first time watch or?
Yeah, actually, the first time I saw it was at New Beverly. He brought up Quentin Tarantino earlier, so
I'm jealous. I never saw this on the big screen. I'd love to.
Oh, okay. I've seen it twice on there. This was actually my first time seeing it at home.
Oh, nice.
I liked it better on the big screen, but this is a great time. I still remember seeing the trailer for the first time and seeing like the zombies crawl up the roller coaster. I'm like, what?
Oh, yeah.
This is, I got to see this. So then I saw it and enjoyed the hell out of it. But it hasn't really been on like regular rotation. Like I said, it was only the first time I seen it at home. It's I don't have much to say. You guys fucking took everything, but yeah, get out there.
Remember a couple shows back where I said plot doesn't really matter? Kind of a good example here.
Well, it has a plot. I mean,
it's
doesn't,
spread.
but does the plot really matter? No, it doesn't.
Okay.
It doesn't matter at all. It's a bunch of scenes with zombies in America. But I love the movie. They run. There's the argument: are they zombies? Or are they infected? That's a whole nother thing, and I don't want to get into that nerdness. But
we're horror podcasters. You're a nerd, whether you like it or not, Todd. Just to embrace it.
Okay, Dan. But yeah, I love this movie. It's a good time, start to finish. You can even loop it if you want, because I get some people might have an issue with the ending, but it doesn't really matter. Like I said, the plot in this is
You get an airport
Yeah.
gunfight.
Yeah,
Fuck yes.
the only issue I have with the ending is like, boy, this guy's an idiot. He had a very vivid
Right.
dream of what was going to happen, and he did the exact same thing.
Final Destination stole the plot.
Yeah, right.
I think he could have got that, whatever he was going for, purgatory. I don't know exactly what he was trying to do. I think he could have stuck that landing a little bit better. But if I'm pitching this to somebody who hasn't seen it, I mean, there's a shootout with zombies on a roller coaster that they're trying to escape to a helicopter. Like this movie is insane. And you can see Lenzi was such a great action director. Again, dive into his catalog, because some of that Poliziotteschi stuff is just as gruesome as the horror movies. And I know a lot of people have seen Contraband, the Lucio Fulci film. That one's nasty. As far as nastiness and just blood, that's right up there with any horror movie he did. So jump into it. And yeah, I fucking love this movie so much. Todd, yeah, plot does matter, but I'm glad we're in agreement. We needed some kumbaya after that last episode.
I don't think you're listening to what Todd's saying, Dan.
I know, yeah. he still puts such, whatever. All right, it doesn't, though. It really doesn't. And this movie actually proves that it doesn't.
Well, maybe not for every movie, but it does matter, is all I'm saying.
If it doesn't matter for every movie, it doesn't matter. Okay, Chris, what do you give this one?
4. It's a good, really, it's a fun, great, wild roller coaster, pardon the pun, of a movie. And I'm never going to be able to watch the ending with a straight face, because I watched it with a buddy of mine once, and he lost it when Homegirl fell down that roller coaster, saying that she was going for the Olympics, and he's like, tens across the board as she's doing her twirls on the way down. So I can't watch that now without breaking into hysterics, and people think there's something wrong with me. Or usually they're laughing right along with me. But yeah, this is a wildly entertaining and fun film, and very thin on plot. I mean, there's no plot in this, but that's okay. It's still fun.
Yeah, plot doesn't really matter. Pugs, what do you give it?
I'm on par with Chris. I'm a 4 out of 5.
Dan, how about yourself?
I am a 4.5 out of 5. Maybe I don't think the ending ruins anything, but I get it. Why people?
What do you give it on plot?
I give it a 5 on plot, Todd.
Okay. Good. I'm also 4.5 on this one. Like I do love this one, even though I'm giving it shit. But like I said, does it matter? No, it doesn't at all.
Oh, and I did point out Enzo Castellari, another guy great at action, was attached to direct this before Lenzi. So I think it still would have been good, but
all right. Well, now here we go.
Not as sleazy.
I don't know if this one's going to be. I don't know if this vote's going to be any easier, but we're going to do it this time. Pugs, you get to go first today.
Gee, I wonder
I'm
what he's
still
going to pick.
eliminating Return of the Living Dead.
Well, I was going to tell you what was up for elimination, but I know your vote anyway. So for Dan, we have Zombie, we have Return of the Living Dead, we have Dead Girl, and Nightmare City. See, it's a difficult one. Dan, what are you getting rid of?
I love this one too much, and I love the others too much not to. I've got to. I got to get rid of Dead Girl on this one. I'm gonna vote out Dead Girl.
I'm gonna vote out Zombie. Chris, what do you pick?
Dead Girl.
Oh, there we go.
Dead
At
Girl
least I had no part in it.
Episode, so.
I couldn't.
Yeah, I know Pugs is determined to get rid of Return of the Living Dead, but I'm for one never going to vote for that one. I'm just determined to get it to win now. But honestly,
the changes are starting. This is where it gets fun.
For reasons I said on the last episode, that's why I feel like Dead Girl should be eliminated. It just doesn't fit the mold quite like these others do for me in terms of what I want out of a zombie film. So
it made
Dead Girl gave me the most of what I want out of a zombie film.
But you know what? Here's my thing with that.
No, it gave you the most you wanted out of your chubby. Okay, like that's
yes. It wasn't a one and done. That's all I care about. It made it. At least it made it through a round.
Yeah, I'm glad we got to put it over because I do.
We got to spotlight in a minute because I do love that picture. And I don't. It's just
I
gonna
don't
get
believe your
harder.
vote, Todd. Voting zombie. I don't buy it.
So
Okay.
you like okay?
I
Yeah.
I didn't.
I didn't think I thought
I
it would
no no.
take a
You know I
long
no.
time.
I 100% voted it because I know no one else would.
That's not a
100%.
real vote, sir. Although sometimes I do that too, so I
Again,
don't blame you.
agendas
Game
are
as well.
forming.
Yeah.
Agendas are forming. So now it's gonna, and that's why I'm trying to switch you votes first, so we're not like stuck in it this every time.
You know, Pugs, to quote one of my favorite lines from Return of the Living Dead Part 2, they seem to like brains, so maybe they'll leave you alone.
There you
go.
We could have my
Honestly,
if we
ignorance
want-
is bliss.
Kruger gets violent. Chris gets a little bitchy. It's a little different this
Oh, I
turn.
love it though. I like it. Turn that sass up. Let's go.
We could have My Little Pony in this tournament, and Pugs will justify it as a zombie movie over Return. You're just so dead
gonna-
set.
I'm gonna need like 2 hours of research, and then I'll get it.
The zombie brony film Dan's been writing.
The undead brony.
Well, actually, the brony is clearly dead and soulless, so I'm going to put it over Return of the Living Dead.
Okay, well,
You have that recorded.
all right. On that note, that's another one for the books.
All right.
So Dan,
Yes.
why don't you say goodnight?
All right, guys. Good night, and stay tuned for more Tournament of the Living Dead, where there will certainly be more fighting.
Money's on the dresser. Chris?
Pugs, go play in traffic.
I'll see you in Disneyland.